Intro music.
Come on in.
A star for the ages for Tony Gwynn, number 3,000.
They have acquired Eric Johnson and Fernando Tatis Jr. from the White Sox in exchange for James Shield.
Welcome to Slam Diego.
My name is James.
My name is Joey.
And this is the Brothers Padre.
James, we have a transaction.
A transaction, you say?
Yes, a trade, if you will.
That would be the correct term.
Yes. The San Diego Padres have traded with the New York Yankees. James, ready for this?
Okay.
We took the
Like I don't already know.
We took the bones of Babe Ruth and we traded them for Eric Hosmer.
Not even the Yankees wouldn't do that because the bones of Babe Ruth are worth more.
No, James, the San Diego Padres traded with the New York Yankees for Luke Voit.
Excellent deal. All in all, I mean, we traded, what was his name again?
Justin Lang.
Justin Lang. I keep wanting to say Justin Long, the actor, but no, it's Lang.
Yeah.
A first-round draft pick, can throw 102 miles an hour, has only been in the minors for 1 year. So
A low A person.
a low A person, potential upside in the next 3 years for the Yankees, and right now upside for the Padres.
Yeah, I think it's a great deal. I think that this is the right move if we can or cannot move Eric Hosmer. I think this is the better deal because you can platoon him. And I'm a little over prospect hugging, so I don't really care. Right? I want to be good now. I think there's certain prospects I'm willing to hug, and he's just not one of them.
Especially since we didn't know him that well.
Right.
It's not like it's a Jason Mears or a Robert Hassel III or a Mackenzie Gore. These are players that I have at least have gone and watched in minor league games. You
Right.
have not.
No. I'm too busy watching Major League games.
Okay, fine.
Obviously, this adds a big thump to our lineup. It is Luke Voit, when he's healthy, a plus hitter in baseball, huge power bat, led the league in homers in the shortened 2020 season with 22 over 60 games. That's pretty good.
Pretty good, yeah.
That's really good. Yeah, I'm just excited. I think it's a good move. I think with expanded rosters potentially, it's like a no-brainer. Like you have to go. Adding someone like him is just like, and you can get for so cheap, it makes sense to do it.
Exactly, because the Yankees legitimately had no place for him.
They have too many power hitters.
They have Anthony Rizzo, who's going to be their everyday first baseman.
Right.
And they have Giancarlo Stanton, who's their DH.
Yep.
There was no place for Voit. And so he hasn't been getting, even when he's been healthy, he hasn't been getting that much playing time because he's been platooning.
Right.
If he's our everyday DH or our backup first baseman or our everyday first baseman, he'll get more batting plate appearances this year than he did with the Yankees, for sure.
So Bob Melvin came out today and said basically the plan is Hosmer's a strictly platoon first baseman, which we've been asking for, I don't know, 2 or 3 years now. Like Hosmer should never face another lefty in his life. I'm going to say it. I'm just going to go out and say it.
Hosmer should never accept another ball being thrown from an infielder to him again.
Today was also the first spring training game. We'll talk about it afterwards after this, but he biffed almost 2 balls today thrown at him. Pretty bad.
They were hardish, but he still biffed them.
Yeah, I think that this deal is awesome. I want more power in our lineup, and because it's so cheap, it's a no-brainer.
Exactly.
It's just you should do this 10 times till Tuesday.
All of the other power bats we've been looking at, Jorge Solero, Brian Reynolds, all those guys, Nick Castellanos are going to cost. Don't get me wrong, I would still love any one of those or all those players,
right?
But he is definitely the cheaper option and the best upside, probably.
Yep. Yeah, I'm excited. Luke Voit said he's very excited, kind of relieved now because even last year there was tension for playing time, and he says now he feels like he can go back to mashing the ball again and being an everyday player.
And he's playing for a competent manager.
Yeah. It is kind of crazy to me that there was a time last season, the Yankees, where he was the best hitter, but he was only pitch hitting. Like he was like a full-time pinch hitter. And it is wild to me. It feels like they just squandered an opportunity with him, but they also have Judge, Stanton, and Rizzo and Gallo. They all had to figure out time for. So
yes. Can we talk about one thing?
Is it about Voit?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. He's a big boy.
No.
He's a big boy though.
People out there listen to this that are also happen to be Yankees fans.
Yeah.
If you were following Twitter like Joey and I do, where do you think you live? They were like the first time the second it came out that the Padres looking to trade for Voit, every Yankee fan thought we were going to give you Blake Snell and Lamet for Voit. No.
Right.
It's like it was just so ridiculous. Like to see all these Yankees fans, and then they're all super upset that we were robbed. No, you got a fair trade. You got a player with a now upside and a player with a future upside. That's what a trade is. Yankees fans just assume because they have the pinstripes, we should give you half our team.
Yeah.
We're not giving you a Cy Young Award winner for Luke Voit.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen. Now, if Luke Voit has a 50 home run season, yes, we did rob the Yankees, but we both know that's not going to happen.
But the flip side is if Justin Lang can consistently throw 102 miles an hour with the command
and win a Cy Young for them.
Like,
yeah,
like
exactly.
Justin Lang has raw talent. Like you don't just throw 102 willy-nilly.
Yeah. He's throwing 102 in his first year in the minors.
Yeah.
That's he didn't play in college. That's his first year out of high school. He's throwing 102. That kid has talent.
Yeah.
We didn't give you somebody that's like, well, he may or may not be good depending on which way the wind blows. This guy has raw talent. It's up to you to, develop him, which they won't. They'll ruin him. But that's just because the Yankees are a terrible franchise. But I could still be bitter for 98. I don't know.
Who can tell?
Who can tell these things? The universe is a confusing place.
We were never going to give Snell for Voit.
No.
That's just hilarity. There were plenty of quiet Yankee fans that were like, just give us someone that's going to be cool in the future.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of them being like, what if we just do Joe Musgrove for Voit? I'm like, buddy, that's not how these things work. You can't just like pick a starter and be like, hey, this guy that barely starts, let's switch him. That's not how
No,
it works.
I replied to one of them saying, okay, we'll trade you Snell for Stanton. And the guy did not think I was funny.
I probably wouldn't do that trade, but at least it's like, hey, this guy can hit 50 home runs. This person can have 18 wins, sub 2 ERA. Okay, that evens out.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what this tells you more is that injury risk in GM circles is a tricky thing to trade for. Right?
Yes.
Because a low A prospect that's as raw talent is powerful and like meaningful, but not like you're not going to see that talent for years down the line. And so it's just, I don't know. To me, it seems like someone said Lamet for Voit, and that makes a little sense because they're both super injury prone. They both have tons of raw tools that are powerful, but Yankees chose this one, and they obviously have an intention to develop Justin, and we'll see.
I wish Justin all the best.
Yeah.
Except when we're playing against him
sometime next year.
Or
the years to come.
Yeah. He's probably not going to be major league ready for another 3 years.
Yeah, we'll see. Pitchers are notoriously long to develop. So
I know we've had a guy in the minors that seems like a decade.
Yeah. And that seems like a good transition, James.
Oh, was that what I was queuing you up for?
Good job.
Oh, my goodness.
Was that person named Mackenzie Gore, James?
You know what? I believe it was.
Wow. Wait, was today the first spring training game, James?
You know what, Joey? I believe it was.
Wow. Who pitched today?
This bit's getting old real quick, but I think it was Mackenzie Gore.
You're right.
I know. I watched the game.
Yeah, Mac Daddy. Start the game against the first spring training game.
First time I've ever seen him pitch live, and it was impressive.
Yeah, he did very good.
2 innings of work, 30 pitches,
2 strikeouts.
2 strikeouts.
Should have been 25 pitches, but
He didn't allow a walk. A player did reach on an error. But
yeah.
he was the guy that reached on error was fouling a ton of pitches off. Finally, he reached on error, and then you just saw Mackenzie Gore get like just mad, and he threw three pitches and struck the next guy out. Like, oh, okay, he's got stuff.
Yeah, his stuff looked. I mean, spring training starts already kind of weird to judge because they haven't faced competition like this too, and it's a more pressurized environment, and it's Mackenzie Gore who has a long. I'm troubled the wrong way to say it, but complicated history with his mechanics and his career so far. In 2019, he was the best pitcher in minor leagues. Right, had more strikeouts than innings pitched. That's very good. Had a sub-2 ERA. And then 2020 and 2021 was just kind of like him not getting... Well, 2020 was kind of a lost year, too, because COVID, he didn't have a formal training plan. And 2021, he just kind of like did badly, you know.
And they worked on him. His mechanics aren't as long. He doesn't have as high of a leg kick. It's more compact. And so they've been working on him with his mechanics because the kid still has stuff. He legitimately has 5 or 6 pitches.
Yeah.
His curveball is amazing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, people say it's like, that's why he was rated for a long time the best pitching prospect in baseball. Like, and you can see it. He does have that stuff. And he was hitting 97, 98 today. So he has velocity and that stuff. I was very excited and I was very pleased to see.
I was too. I thought it was excellent. I think again, it's the first game of spring training, so who knows? But as of right now, I think it's the 5th spot is his in this rotation. But again, the Padres are in an excellent position right now.
Right.
We have 4 starters.
Right.
4 starters that any team in Major League Baseball would accept in their rotation as their number 1 and number 2 guys. And then we just have to we're competing for the 5th spot. And competing for that 5th spot is Nick Martinez, Ryan Weathers, and Mackenzie Gore.
And Chris Paddock.
Honestly, I'm not even going to consider Ryan Weathers for the role.
Yeah.
Because he has bullpen experience. And he's good. He was good out of the bullpen last year. So I think I unless he just comes out and is like, oh my goodness, he really is the next David Wells. Put him on there. I think he's going to be the bullpen for sure. Chris Paddock I would not be surprised if he's the next quote big piece that we trade away. Like a piece that we've grown to, we've watched a lot of in the Padres organization. If he can't make the transition to the bullpen, and again, if he doesn't blow people away for the spring training starting position,
right,
it doesn't make much sense. I know right now people are predicting Martinez. I'm not too impressed by his stats. Again, I could be wrong. He could blow me away, but his numbers aren't that great.
MLB numbers aren't that great.
No.
His Japanese numbers are good.
It's true.
But that's always it. I think at the very least, there's healthy competition. One of those guys' talent is going to do better and it's going to shine more in spring.
Yes.
And also, I'm sure the Padres are like, maybe we'll go into the season with 7 starters because we know how baseball works.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. 7 starters, 2 in the bullpen.
Right.
They'll get a couple I mean, Chris Paddock pitched out of the bullpen once or twice last year. And honestly, Lamet's not going to be a starter. There's no way a guy who's that injury prone, just put him in the bullpen. He has dynamite stuff for 3 innings.
Yep.
Yeah, I think legitimately it's between those guys. And if Paddock and Weathers are both long relievers that can all. Oh, this guy needs a day off, or we're going to be having a ton of double headers
Right.
this year. It's not going to be a bad idea to have extra starters in the bullpen.
I agree.
But the problem is, can they produce out of the bullpen? Because that's a different animal. We know Ryan Weathers can,
Right.
and we know he can start games. I don't know about Martinez, and I don't know about Paddock.
What's going to be crazy too,
And I certainly don't know about Gore either.
What's crazy about all of this is because of a shortened spring training, you kind of have 2 appearances maybe to show you're ready.
Yes.
Maybe 3, right? I mean, you're not going to be given that many times to really shine as a starter.
That's true.
So right now, Mackenzie Gore's in the lead.
That is true.
But, I wonder if Mackenzie Gore comes the next start he does in spring training. He's faced a more hitters that are more, timed in and more focused, like how well he does. So I don't know. It's gonna be fun to see because I think there's definitely Paddock, if he's like 2019 Paddock, it's hard to ignore that as a 5th starter, especially because he was so good in 2019.
Correct. But a lot of times when pitchers sometimes have really great rookie years,
Right.
because their stuff is so new, no one knows how to scout them.
Right.
They clearly know how to scout him now. So can he finally make the adjustment to change things up a bit? That's the big key with Paddock.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm interested. I mean, today was a great day. We saw Kevin Kopps, who pitched in high level college baseball, make his first appearance in spring training, and he has incredible stuff. His stuff feels like has crazy amount of horizontal movement, had a clean inning in and out. So I think he has the potential to be a part of the rotation because he already has high competition experience and his stuff is so good.
His stuff was good.
Yeah.
We saw Jorge Alfaro.
Hit a 3-run homer.
Yep. Already dubbed the best hair in baseball by Mark Grant and Donacello.
It is pretty cool. That's another thing we've talked about too is like the catcher position. We're carrying currently 3 catchers. If the roster expanded 28,
4 catchers.
Alfaro, Nola, Caratini, and
Capasano.
Campusano, right? Dude, poor Campusano. I feel like he's just not going to make it again.
No.
I've seen him play once, and so maybe that's a bad way of judging him, but I feel like...
We saw him play... he played a couple games in the big leagues last year.
So, I don't know. So, we have to make that decision up. If rosters expanded 28, which is... There might be an expansion to 28 people in April, then we could carry 3 catchers for whatever reason.
True.
I don't know if we should. I'd rather carry relief pitchers over catchers, but I'm not the GM of the Padres.
No.
Yeah, so Jorge Alfaro currently is leading the catcher race.
He has the most home runs at any Padre.
Nola also played today. I started the game with catching. He had to find a couple of bats. It's hard. Judging hitters is always hard in spring training because your timing just not there.
Yeah.
Yeah. CJ Abrams was there.
He did well. He made he had a throwing error, but I will throw that out. He threw it to a first baseman that can't catch. So
Yeah.
yes, it was a bad throw, but it was a bad throw that every first baseman trains how to catch.
Yeah.
Because it was a bouncer, and you're supposed to be able to catch that. And if you have 4 gold gloves, it should just be muscle memory.
Yep.
But look at me picking at old wounds. So
It has been 0 episodes the last time we've made fun of Eric Hosmer.
I'm not even mentioning his name. I want him to do well. I really do.
Maybe when he's a platoon DH, he's that better.
Sure.
But Luke Voit's at first, and he's a DH.
Luke Voit can't be a worse first baseman.
He's not especially better, but
he's not a good. I've looked at his stats.
He's not like, he's not great, but he can hit home runs though.
Yes, he can. Anyways,
So spring training is in full bore. Nomar Mazara, former Texas Ranger, non-roster invite, also hit a home run, and
he's an outfielder.
Yeah, so 2 Rangers that Preller picked up hit home runs, and I just hate that. So much. If we start the 2022 season with Nomar Mazara, Jerickson Profar, Jorge Alfaro, and Yu Darvish, I'm okay with one of those people, 2 of those people. I'm like, what are we doing, Preller? We can't just always use this pool of talent that you looked at. Like, it feels like he did his homework once when he was a bachelor in a bachelor program, and he's like, I could write a thesis about this again, right? And he's like, I could write a doctoral thesis about the same thing, right? He's like, you can't just keep using the same homework over and over again. But he is. He sure is.
I mean, if it's a good paper and it wins scholarships, why not?
Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, it was a fun first game. I just checked. We won 6-4.
Yay!
Because these are very meaningful games. Very, very meaningful.
It's meaningful because all of our family in Seattle, we're better than you.
Yeah. Wow. Well, there it is. Mariners have a good team, though.
Mariners, if any team improved the most over the offseason, it's the Mariners. They won 91 games last year, and they look like they can be a 100-plus win team.
Oh, yeah. If the Astros don't meaningfully get better in the next couple days, it's going to be a dogfight in that division, for sure. And they don't have to win that much. They would have, if with the new expanded divisions, expanded playoffs, it'd be easy peasy for them.
I know. I just think they're going to beat the Astros. I don't think the Astros lost too many key pieces.
But what if they re-sign Correa, James?
That is the still up. I think people hate Correa more than we realize.
Yeah,
because they want the baggage of picking up a cheater. That's why Jose Altuve is never going to leave that team. Because
George Springer got signed. I think because George Springer is a nice guy.
Because the 3 guys that were the biggest faces of it and also the biggest jerks about it, Altuve, Correa, and their third baseman Bregman.
Yeah, that's true.
Everyone hates Altuve because he still denies that he did it, even though don't take my shirt off. Don't take my shirt off. We all know why you don't want to take your shirt off. You have a buzzer on, you little hobbit. Anyways,
wow.
I don't like the Astros, Joseph. I think I'm very clear on that.
Well, you're the only one in baseball that thinks that way, so it's very controversial.
I know. It's just they should have all been suspended for life.
Yeah.
The fact that Pete Rose isn't in the Hall of Fame and these guys might have a chance to be in the Hall of Fame. No. If any of these guys go to the Hall of Fame, I'll be upset.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's.
Anyways, what were we talking about again? Padres. We're a Padre podcast.
Went from Padres, Mariners, Astros, cheaters, and Padres podcast. I'm excited. I think the past week was kind of awful as a Padres fan because we have such high expectations. We get Padres fans get all out of sort for the stupidest reasons. We were probably never going to get Freddie Freeman.
There was no way we were going to. I mean, it would have been nice, but the problem with Freddie Freeman was he wanted way too much money, and we already have a big enough payroll.
Right.
Because we have a certain first baseman that's getting Freeman money.
Yeah. Right. And, but Padres fans get so upset when other people do well. Like, we just don't have, we're so distraught all the time of years and years of being abused. Well, we keep forgetting, like, we just listed like an incredible starting rotation. Our starting rotation is really, really, really good. Still the best starting rotation, I think, in Padres history, talent-wise.
Absolutely.
But the Padres fans are like, oh no, we're throwing, no offense, Tyson Ross out there. Like, we have this sense of like, we're just throwing Jordan Lyles and Tyson Ross out there, and Seth Smith's playing center field. You're like, that's what we keep thinking our team is, because we haven't won anything, because we're so fragile.
Well, the problem is AJ Preller did lull us into a false sense of security because the past couple years, within 24 hours, we got Yu Darvish, Blake Snell, Ha-Seong Kim.
Right.
And a week later, we got Joe Musgrove.
Right.
That's nuts.
Right.
And then, and the thing is that Padre fans, you have to remember what the big thing that we did to improve our team this year, you're not going to see on the field because we still have one of the most talented ball clubs on the field, but we did not have a support staff giving them the best up-to-date information.
Right.
We now do. We have a more advanced analytics pitching coach that isn't from the last century. We have a advanced hitting staff with a whole hitting coach hitting coach staff now.
Yep.
We have more advanced analytics teams. We made all the right moves, and we made all the same stuff that the Giants did the previous
Correct,
year.
yeah.
We're doing the best stuff. We sign the best manager in baseball, who, if you have any doubts about this season, Padre fans, go watch any one of his press conferences and say that you don't feel 100% confident as him as our skipper. Like,
Yeah.
he talks and you're like, oh, that's the father figure I wanted in sports, you know?
Right. Yeah, I think that's going to be our guiding light in this season. It's going to be that. I think that talent always wins, but what is that expression? Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Yes.
Like, that's going to be...
And it was evident by last year how we fell apart. And we talked about we've talked about it a lot.
Right.
The Padres fell apart because we
Didn't adapt.
We didn't have the stat. Everybody else switched their approach against us, and we weren't switching the approach against them.
Yep.
And nothing that we had that was clear, but just the way our pitchers kept on throwing the same pitch mixes. And it was obvious they knew what their pattern of the pitches were going to be. And we just didn't mix anything up because we weren't keeping up with the times. That's why we needed to get younger and more advanced in our coaching staff, and I think we did that.
Yep, I agree. And yeah, I think we are like Jace Tingler refused to platoon Cosmer, even though that was obviously the move to do. And it takes one transaction, and Bob Melvin's like, guess what the plan is, Hosmer?
Yeah.
You stink against lefties. This Luke Voit character doesn't. So you're not going to play when lefties are on the mound. And he said Hosmer's for it. I think it's something to be said about Bob Melvin's, like James said, you just hear him talk. Oh, you're a leader.
Yes.
I'll jump through this wall with you. I'll jump off this bridge with you. Like, you know, there's like net down there. Like, he has this like calming, authoritative presence. You're like, oh yeah, if he sat down with me one-on-one, he probably convinced me to do anything. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm with you. Yeah, you want me to platoon? Sure. Want me to shine your shoes every day? Sure, let's
Exactly.
do it. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm in a much better mood now after this spring training game and after getting Luke Voit. I feel like I text you every morning this past week the same three things, and one of the things finally came true.
So Joey has a tendency, because we have very different lifestyles, to wake me up every morning at 6 a.m. with a text.
And you can put your phone on silent. You don't have to wake up to it.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I do have my phone on Do Not Disturb, but there are certain people, i.e. family members, that can break through that because there might be an emergency.
Sure. Like, for example, Luke Voit coming to the
Yes.
coming to the Padres.
I believe 2 days ago I texted you, if you can't text something nice, don't text something at all.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. But I've texted you, today's a good day for us to either sign Soler, Castellanos, trade for Voit, and ship away Eric Hosmer.
One of those things happened?
Yeah.
We still might get a few things like that.
I am okay I would like one of those other two things to happen.
What? Let me ask you a question.
I'm ready.
Just what is the likelihood of us sending a certain first baseman to AAA if he cannot produce?
You'd have to negotiate with him because he doesn't have any options. That's just a good question. He should be able to. I think he doesn't have any minor league. It's a major league contract, so you have to negotiate with him to send him to AAA.
So if we wanted to do that, we just have to cut him and give him the rest of his contract?
Oh, it's not a great deal, no.
Oh, okay. I just figured, like, why isn't he
You can designate for him, like Pujols was, right? Yeah, last year, right? He was designated for assignment with the Angels, and anyone can pick up that contract and pay him, or if no one picks it up, he's a free agent. But we still have to owe him that money. The Angels still spent all that money on Pujols, but they said, literally, you're burning a roster spot. We have this guy named Jared Walsh who's a literal all-star, and you're stopping him from playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
it was a dream.
Well, James, are we, did any news happen during this podcast?
Let's check.
Doesn't look like it.
Doesn't look like it, no.
But exciting times. Baseball's back.
And legitimately, teams are going to, the last few people, free agents, teams are right now, the first week of spring training, they're going to look at their teams and go, okay, we need to spend the money on this and this gap.
Right. And AJ Power's like, there's two Rangers that also play the outfield that just hit home runs. I don't need to get any outfielders. Yeah.
Oh, man.
But we'll see. We'll keep you up to date.
Fun short episode. Let's.
We're on YouTube. We're on Spotify. Thank you for continuing to listen to us and just give us some love. We're on Twitter @BrothersPadre. And until next time, James, go Padres.
Go Padres.
There it is! Oh, doctor! You can hang a star on that, baby!